people is that their character seems to be quality. Thank you for catching that we skipped the character test. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention because I do have slides for that. I just don't know why they're not in this presentation. So, but the obvious objection when you come to the bias test, so let's go back to the bias test now. The obvious objection in the bias test is that these people love Jesus and they were not neutral observers. What did John believe about him? I just quoted the beginning of the Gospel of John to you. What did John believe? Son of God. Yep. He's what? The Word. Yep. The Word of God who took on flesh. Yep. Go ahead. That he is God. That he is God. Yeah. The way, the truth, and the life. The way, the truth, and the life. Okay. These are the things. The other thing that they believed about Jesus, and we know this from the book of Philippians. Remember, all these aren't just names. These are actual people like you who are meeting in a church somewhere. So the book of Philippians was written to a group of people meeting in the town of Philippi they were the church. And you know what they were worried about? They were worried about the fact that that people in their church had started dying. Okay, this room is set up like this because we're going to have a funeral luncheon in here on Saturday, and we didn't want to take everything down and put it back up again at the end of the week. Their loved ones were dying. And based on something Jesus had said during his ministry, they thought what was going to happen with Jesus before the end of their lives. You can always find people saying this is going to happen in the next couple of days. He was going to come back. Yes. They thought Jesus was coming back again to judge them, to judge the living and the dead. And they thought, what do you think they thought happened to everyone in their family who had already died? Why do you think they were worried? Yeah?
They thought that they were damned.
They thought that they were damned. That's exactly right. They were anxious because people were dying, and they thought Jesus was supposed to come back right away. And they thought that maybe grandma who died was now in hell because of it. Okay? And St. Paul has to reassure them, no, don't worry about it. You're misinterpreting Jesus's words. Don't be anxious. It's okay. So, yes, they loved Jesus, but what else? They thought he was coming back to judge them. What does that make them less likely to do? If you're up, I mean, you guys just got done reading Dante, right? Okay. You've got two options here. What's going to happen if they lie about Jesus? Yeah. One-way ticket down. Yes, this is not what they're looking forward to. So, but here's the reality. You can so respect and love somebody that you want to record their life with integrity. It doesn't show love for a person to lie about their life, even if it puts them in a better light. Okay? Especially someone who called them to very exacting standards, right? The disciples had nothing to gain by misrepresenting the life of Jesus except criticism and ostracism and martyrdom, and they did get all those things. Okay? And Jesus said some kind of obnoxious things. He said things like, be perfect as your Father in heaven is imperfect. Okay? So Jesus called them to extremely exacting standards. And that was part, even though they certainly loved him and were biased toward him, they didn't want to lie about him. Cover-up test. What do you think this means? Best guess. Cover-up test. You've already had this. You don't remember? Okay. All right, I'll give you a shot. Go ahead.
Cover-up test is whether there's any kind of things that they're using to hide evidence.
Yes. Are there parts of the stories they're skipping? Why would they skip parts of the story? Then think of the cop shows you've seen. Yes. Yes. They don't like the way it really is. So somebody is giving evidence against a mob boss, and they just happen to skip over the part where the mob boss sent them out with 10 kilos of cocaine to deliver, because that makes me look bad. Okay. I went down to Joe's bar because he told me to. Well, he did. He told you to deliver 10 kilos of cocaine, but they skipped that part. Right? Yeah. Are there things they're covering up because they feel like it would undermine their own testimony or the story they're trying to tell? Were details glossed over that were hard to explain or that made the storyteller look bad? That's what you're looking for as a juror when you're listening to evidence. So here's the reality. All the Gospels recount stories that make the disciples look bad. All of them. The disciples are idiots in the Gospels, okay? This is why I have such great hope for myself. I'm an idiot. They were idiots, and Jesus picked them. So we're in good shape. Yeah, they all make the disciples look not good, especially Peter, but they all do at one point or another. James and John don't get it either. What you need? Ready to move on? Okay, move on here. So bottom line with the cover-up test is that while there may have been, we can ask questions about their testimony, but they at least weren't deliberately covering up things that seemed to work against the story they were trying to tell. All right. So by all the legal standards, intention,